When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary won't come to me. It'll be Ken Napzok, with his informative, reliable, warm, witty, and bearded Star Wars coverage. Now, I kind of almost didn't need to give him that intro, as the chances are he probably cyber nudged you in the direction of this channel anyway, thanks to various shout-outs on the Light of the Jedi Council and his ForceCentre podcast as well. And I had a chat with the man himself just the other day about his brand new book. Here's the book, and here comes the chat. Let's talk about your new book, Why We Will Love Star Wars, The Great Moments That Built a Galaxy Far, Far Away, by you, Ken Napzok.
Me. Hey, thanks for having me, Jamie's hair. It's going to be a lot of fun talking to you today.
The hair makes all of the decisions, so you were right to thank the hair for the invitation. So with the book, there's 100 moments, to be precise. Yeah. Am I right in saying that?
Correct,
100 moments that you've chosen, and they do cover all Star Wars bases. There's prequels, there's original trilogy, there's sequels, there's Clone Wars, there's even one of the moments is dedicated to the characters of Warwick Davis, which in itself covers pretty much all of the Star Wars bases. And this isn't a criticism. There are, of course, moments that you didn't pick. How did you whittle down? What was the process to whittle down to these 100 that you ended up going with?
Oh, man, it was completely my gut and soul, and sometimes those things both lead me in the wrong directions in life. But for this, I just kind of, I never wanted to check a box about I got that. I just wanted to see what pulled me in and what brought me joy in Star Wars. You mentioned like the characters of Warwick Davis. That's a great example of when Weasel's revealed in Solo. I was like, oh yes, like Warwick's got a speaking part, and he's not just a quick little background character or something like. And then it got me thinking about it's this tradition of him being in Star Wars now. That brings me joy. So stuff like that. I did it. It's 100 to 1, so there's a ranking involved. But as I try to say in the prologue, and I've said in other places, like that's my ranking. Your ranking's more important because you're right. There's things I've left out. I was thinking about one this morning. For some reason, I knew I was going to be talking to you, and I was thinking about some of the stuff. And I was like, there's a moment with Poe I would have included. Maybe if I was writing them all out now. So they're always going to be moments. I was going to go with Last Jedi, the beginning, like his some of his maneuvers, his plan, and the lesson that we learned from it. Just that was kind of one of my favorite moments. But it didn't make it. So next time.
Yeah, the sequel. You've got to find another 100 moments.
Oh, I'm sure there will be some.
And you've been in radio, comedy, broadcasting, the online broadcasting world as well, which we're currently partaking in this moment. Like, jobs change, life changes in so many different ways. But I think if you're a fan of anything, certainly from a young age, whether it be a sports team or Star Wars, that's a constant, isn't it? So therefore, has this book really been your lifetime in the making?
Yeah, absolutely. It took me 6 months to write, but 40 plus years or so, grumble, to get there. Yeah, absolutely. The love starts for something like this, and exactly like the examples you gave with whether sports teams or other franchises or stories. I was 7 when it really sunk in, right? And that's I was in that original trilogy age, 83, and it's never gone away. It's changed. What I appreciate's changed or gotten deeper. I look at things differently now. I look at the prequels different now than I did 20 years ago. But it's always there, the love of Star Wars.
And you have a lot of love for the prequels, don't you? You picked out the prequels there. How has that love changed in the 20 years you just mentioned?
Yeah, it changed from, I think, allowing myself to dig deeper, connecting with other people who appreciate them on another level. I always mention my pal Joseph Scrimshaw from ForceCentre. It was the first time we met. We met over him first doing a podcast coming on Jedi Alliance with me and Maude Garrett to, quote, defend the prequels. And it's not about trying to say, yes, that silly little moment that we all kind of agree is silly isn't as silly as you think. It's not about that. It's about the themes, the Lucas world building that he did, and how a lot of it connects to the bigger story And I now have not just appreciation, but an understanding for a lot of things George was trying to do. That at 22, watching Phantom Menace in the theater, going, "That's not my Star Wars," that I just built up a wall around. Doesn't mean a lot of those moments that we still look at and kind of go, well, those are still there. But it's also part of the silly fun of Star Wars now.
Is this your first foray into the world of book writing then, or have you got previous?
I technically, yeah. This is the first. It's easier to say that. There's something out there when I used to cover, used to write more about music and a lot of stuff like that. And there's a collection of essays I wrote, but I put that out myself, and I think 6 people have bought it, and I don't want anyone else to buy it because it's not.
It's not secret now.
It's a secret. But yeah, so this is it. Mango Publishing, and I put this together. Worked on it. Editor team Hugo and Robin, a lot of people helped me over there at Mango Publishing and made this a reality. And it's surreal. It's awesome.
I bet, especially seeing it out there now, your little kind of book baby on the shelf, and you're seeing people tweeting with their own copy, and
it's for a little Star Wars nerd who was alone on the playground, not thinking anyone else loved this silly space opera like him. It's very nice to be warmly received for something that you put some effort into.
And have you sold more than 6 copies?
I have sold.
It's already a win.
Yeah, I win. It's already a big win. Yeah.
But when did you decide? When did you, we said that this has been all those years in the making, but when did you seriously decide, right, I'm doing a book?
Last summer, almost about a year ago. But really, like a lot of creative people, we always think, what else could I be doing? And I wonder if I got a book in me. That big, a book, is not easier said than done. So I was always afraid of writing anything, not just Star Wars. I'm a writer, written a lot of screenplays, all that kind of stuff. But like a book, man, that's a lot of homework. So I met with a friend of mine, Alicia Malone. You may or may not know. She wrote a couple books with Mango Publishing, Backwards and Heels and the Female Gaze, and I worked with her on Schmoes Know and Screen Junkies and all that stuff. And I just kind of sat down and was like, I think I could do this. I think I want to. And she's like, you can and you will. And she got me a meeting with Mango, and that's how it began. What
surprised you the most about the process? Was there something that you kind of didn't expect would be part of this thing that suddenly smacked you in the face?
Pain, suffering. It's a hard process, man. And I'm not saying that even with like a red badge of courage, like how I went through some pain as an author. No, it sucked at times. You really doubt yourself, especially something Star Wars. It's like I talk about Star Wars every week on, ForceCentre and Collider Jedi Council. I talk about Star Wars with my friends. I watch Star Wars. It's like Star Wars is in my blood. So you would think, I know the process of writing is going to be a little, you got to get in there, get in the weeds, but I know what I want to say. And there'd be days, man, I'd stare at a blank screen with that cursor taunting me, just going, what do you want to say about Obi-Wan? Obi-Wan, right? And I couldn't do it. A couple breakdowns of writing. It's a weird process. It's a weird process to do something for, 6 months straight every day, having to sit down, and you don't get to write by inspiration. You have to write because today you need to write. That's a challenge. That's a challenge. And I passed the test as far as I'm concerned in my brain. That's not even a comment on, the quality of the book. Just I got it done, and that feels good. And that was the biggest surprise.
Did you find yourself having to try out different environments to really get yourself working? Because when I try and do my own work where I'm the boss at home, I find the weirdest distractions. Like I'll actually end up cleaning. I'll actually make my bed, just anything not to be doing what I really should be doing right now.
It's so great you brought that up, JB. Yes, because as any good writer, a big fan of Douglas Adams was, like a lot of people, is what my first, got me into like comedy and novels and those kind of things. And I hate deadlines, so I had to work towards those. Only missed a couple. Distractions. I started writing kind of where I'm talking to you now, which is my broadcast. And you've been to my little home studio here. So I'd be at this desk typing all prim and proper. Then I'd end up on the couch because I'm watching Star Wars. I'm researching the scenes. By the end, the last 2.5 months, it was in my room, lights off, window open, on my bed with pillows all around me. And if I didn't write there, I couldn't write.
Really?
It was like a mental block. I couldn't write. And that's not a good sign. You got to be able to write where you can. But I would go to the desk and be like, let me get back to the desk. It's kind of hurting my back. I couldn't do it. I needed to be in that spot. I don't know what it was.
Well, I'm going to try and say the title now without stumbling over it this time. So here we go. Why We Love Star Wars, the great moments that built a galaxy far, far away. I did it.
That's it.
That's the title. And I'm going to put a link in the video description. So if anyone wants to check it out, I'm going to put 2 links. I'm going to put Amazon UK and Amazon US in the video description. See, now I'm stumbling over the word description.
All right.
But Ken, thank you for talking to me, mate. And we'll speak again soon.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure, man. I love your work. I hope everyone else, if you're just finding Jamie now through my big old face, that's great. Go check his interviews out with Ahmed Best and Brian Blessed. It's one of my favorite interviews with Boss Nass. Check his stuff out.